Hey everyone, it's Agnach here and welcome to another video. If it's your first time watching this channel, I would like to give you a big welcome. On this channel I try bringing different content all the time, however I primarily bring competitive content like CWL, Global Clash Cup and Supercell CWL from some of the best clans in Australia like Resistance, Aussie Militia and Aussie Alliance. I also like bringing Legend League bases that have worked for me throughout the months at high trophy ranges, bringing replays of attacks done to them. If you like this type of content and much more, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. On today's video, I'm bringing an attack I saw Gaku use all April season with great success. This is the Yeti bobat. The composition of the army is 3 archers. Gaku uses 4 wall breakers, but he is a beast with them, so I use 8 normal wall breakers or 2 super wall breakers. The super wall breakers make this attack even more powerful, as you will see soon in the replays. The rest of the army is 5 loons, 5 wizards, 5 healers, baby drag for funneling, 5 yetis, 2 minions and 7 bowlers. Spells are a rage, 3 freezes, 1 poison and 5 bad spells. In the CC you want 2 yetis and 3 sneaky goblins with a rage and a blimp. If you don't have goblins you can use a Valk and a Barb, however be mindful, more than likely you'll need a rage for them to take down the town hall. So that's the army. Now let's look at some replays. Okay, so here we have the first replay. So we're going against Hendrix 13 from Sean Duquois. So you put the Warden Rogue on one side, put the Baby Drag on the other side with the King just for funneling. I basically want my entire army to go into the Eagle and single Inferno. So for that you use your wall breakers. Now what Gaku usually uses is Warden for funneling, and then he brings his entire army, throws the wall breakers and uses his Warden ability to make sure that the wall breakers can open a couple of layers. As I said before, I'm not a pro like Gaku, so sometimes I might fail with that. But the main thing with this army is that you want to destroy as much of the splash damage as possible with your main army, and so that the bats have the least amount of splash damage against them. The blimp, you use it to always go towards the town hall. So that's why I was saying, if you have the super goblins, it makes it really good. If you don't, like I didn't this time around, I used the freeze on the town hall just to make sure the town hall went down. If possible, you would prefer not to use freezes on town halls or anything like that. You just want to use it for splash damage, just to make sure that your bats can survive. As you can see, the freeze that I used at the beginning meant that I couldn't use a freeze for that Wiz tower at the end, which killed all of my bats. Now the single Inferno locked onto my queen. She has to use her ability, but she goes through the wall and thankfully hits the single Inferno before the skellies go towards her, and that's the base done. The king is at the top taking care of the enemy queen and now the enemy king. King dies, but we only have just a few buildings left with the queen at full health, so this is gonna be a triple. So as I said before, pretty much you want to funnel your troops in, throw the wall breakers, break into the first, hopefully the second layer, get rid of as much splash damage. So on this base, one thing that I've seen Gaku do, you put the warding on the right hand side, try to create that funnel there on that corner. And then you use the king or baby drag a little bit towards like the 4 o'clock area, just to create a funnel so that your main troops go towards the center. Most of the splash damage are around the town hall, so that's where you want them to go. So you throw the yetis, the bowlers, the queen, and then you put all your wall breakers, send the slammer. You want to have everything within the warden ability, which I did on this occasion. Also another thing that I suggest looking at is the sweeper location. You don't want the sweepers to keep pushing your blimp back. You want it to reach the town hall and definitely go down. You only use that blimp for town hall. You don't use it for funneling, you don't use it anything else. I've seen Gaku sometimes using it for funneling when you have some of the ring bases. So sometimes he uses it, sometimes he doesn't. I'm not sure what he uses to figure out what he wants. I think basically he usually uses the blimp for funneling when there's a lot of damage in the center. So there we're freezing that Whiz Tower. Bring the champ. Also the champ, you can use it to tank some of the Whiz Tower, some of the splash damage. That way you don't need as many free spells. Obviously if you manage to get all your bats to survive, it's a bit faster in terms of like cleanup. I must say that with normal wall breakers, I'm not very good with normal wall breakers, and this attack I was finding it pretty hard. This is at the end of last season, and I was around the 5600 trophy mark, and I must say I was finding it pretty hard to do. However, I did get a few triples. The next attack, let's have a look. Okay, so the next attack is again CPs from Brothers. So again, we're gonna try using the Warden for funneling one side. Over there we see the only multi-target inferno, so I wanted to get rid of with the Warden. Put the King to the south just to funnel a bit more. I wanted my main army to go into that Expo Archer Tower compartment to the southwest. I bring my Yetis, Bowlers, the Queen, wall breakers. I didn't use my second rage with them because I didn't think we need them. I'll bring the blimp, use the Warden ability. Probably I could have waited a little bit longer for that. Put the rage in the center. I didn't have the super goblin, so I want to make sure that it went down. The scatter shot, if it starts hitting all my Yetis and the Yeti mice, it might not go down. I bring the champ just to the southeast. I was trying to get rid of that compartment as well. Bring the bats. Now on this base I still have the two Whiz Towers, the scatter shot, the eagle, and at the top I've got another Whiz Tower. I only have 3 freeze left, so I'll freeze the first Whiz Tower, but then the scatter shot gets rid of half of my bats. The champ is still going nice and strong, but that scatter shot I just could not freeze it, so I decided just to get rid of my bats and just make sure I freeze that area, just to make sure that my main army can survive and goes towards it. My Queen is still there. I put a couple of loons there for the Troll Tesla. They're all moving to the north. Queen is barely there, surviving with the ability. The Warden as well, barely surviving, but they all survive. 40 seconds left. They keep moving to the north. Baby Drag helping with the cleanup. All the Whiz Towers, Goblins, everyone trying to do their part to get these 3-star. So we've got 92%. Yeti goes flying. We only have those 2 cannons, and it's time fail, 96%. So this is something I was finding a lot with this army without the super wall breakers. So now this new season I've got the 2 super wall breakers there, and it has made this attack so much easier. So if you've got the super wall breakers, definitely use them. This base I really didn't need to use them. I just put the Warden there to the south. I'm just making sure that he doesn't get in range of the single inferno, otherwise it's goodbye Warden. I put the King on the 3 o'clock just to create a bit of a funnel, and then I'll bring my main army there. As you can see, the base is open, so I don't really have to use my super wall breakers, but I still put them there anyway. Bring the RC to get rid of that cluster of area. Bring the blimp. I use the tone. Always be careful with those ice golems from the enemies you see. If they freeze your blimp, sometimes it might not get to the town hall. You definitely want them to get to the town hall. Now the good thing about using the super goblins, or the sneaky goblins, is that most of the time if there's no splash damage in the area, you don't have to use rage or free spell or anything in that area, and the town hall will go down. I usually use that 2 Yetis and 3 super goblins. In this occasion the bats survive and they can help me with all the cleanup. As you can see, it was a little bit nicer. And then we've got this attack against Hunter DC from Timeout. So this is the ring base. So I will be using the Warden to break one side of the ring. So I put him there at the 430 area. start getting rid of that area, I bring a loon and the baby drag. Sadly, there's a black mine that kills it very quickly. Put the super wall breaker just to make sure that that layer is open where I want my army to go in. I also try going towards the queen, because the queen gets rid of the bats so quickly. So put the first rage, here comes the heroes, everything, bring the blimp. I use water ability. The sweeper is pushing it back, so I freeze the sweeper, put the rage down because there's a lot of splash damage there. And as you can see, not much apart from the tank hole was gotten rid of, but my main army is just going around the ring. So I put the bats in the middle, freeze the scatter, get rid of that first. The other scatter is being tanked by the other army, so I can just get rid of it very quickly like that. The army is still walking around. I still have the queen, I still have the babkin, I still have the warden, and I still have the RC. Now the enemy king kills my RC, but my queen with the healers manages to kill the enemy king, and this base is wrecked. So I have been using this attack in a few of the friendly wars and normal wars, and it's been doing really good. If I don't triple, it's definitely a very high 2-star. So I definitely recommend using this attack and giving it a try, even more now with all the single infernos being used and all the grand xbows as well. Well, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. I have left Gaku's channel link in the description below. Definitely go and have a look. He's got some great attacks. As always, if you liked the video, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.